Good morning. Today's Bible reading comes from Daniel 7 through 9. So let's get into it. In the first year of the reign of King Belshazzar of Babylon, Daniel had a dream. What he saw as he slept in his bed terrified him, a real nightmare. Then he wrote out his dream. In my dream that night I saw the four winds of heaven whipping up a great storm at the sea. 4 huge animals, each different from the others, ascended out of the sea. The first animal looked like a lion, but had the wings of an eagle. While I watched, its wings were pulled off. It was then pulled erect so that it was standing on 2 feet, like a man. Then a human heart was placed in it. Then I saw a second animal that looked like a bear. It lurched from side to side, holding 3 ribs in its jaws. It was told, "Attack, devour, fill your belly." Then I saw another animal. This one looked like a panther. It had 4 bird-like wings on its back. This animal had 4 heads and was made to rule. After that, a 4th animal appeared in my dream. This one was a grisly horror, hideous. It had huge iron teeth. It crunched and swallowed its victims. Anything left over it trampled into the ground. It was different from the other animals. This one was a real monster. It had 10 horns. As I was staring at the horns and trying to figure out what they meant, another horn sprouted up. A little horn. 3 of the original horns were pulled out to make room for it. There were human eyes in this little horn and a big mouth speaking arrogantly. As I was watching all this, thrones were set in place and the old one sat down. His robes were white as snow. His hair was white as wool. His throne was flaming with fire, its wheels blazing. A river of fire poured out of the throne. Thousands upon thousands served him. Tens of thousands attended him. The courtroom was called to order, and the books were open. I kept watching. The little horn was speaking arrogantly. Then, as I watched, the monster was killed, and its body cremated in a roaring fire. The other animals lived on for a limited time, but they didn't really do anything, had no power to rule. My dream continued. I saw a human form, a son of man, arriving in a whirl of clouds. He came to the old one and was presented to him. He was given power to rule, all the glory of royalty. Everyone, race, color, and creed, had to serve him. His rule would be forever, never ending. His kingly rule would never be replaced. But as for me, Daniel, I was disturbed. All these dream visions had me agitated. So I went up to see one of those standing by and asked him for the meaning of all this, as he told me the interpreting the dream for me. These 4 huge animals, he said, mean that 4 kingdoms will appear on earth, but eventually the holy people of the high God will be given the kingdom and have it ever after. Yes, forever and ever. But I want to know more. I was curious about the 4th animal, the one so different from the others. The hideous monster with iron teeth and bronze claws, gulping down what it ripped to pieces and trampling the leftovers into the dirt. And I wanted to know about the 10 horns on its head and the other horn that sprouted up, while 3 of the original horns were removed. This new horn had eyes and a big mouth and spoke arrogantly, dominating the other horns. I watched as this horn was making war on God's holy people and getting the best of them. But then the old one intervened and decided things in favor of the people of the high God. In the end, God's holy people took over the kingdom. The bystander continued, telling me this. The 4th animal is a 4th kingdom that will appear on earth. It will be different from the first 3 kingdoms, a monster kingdom that will chew up everyone in sight and spit them out. The 10 horns are 10 kings. one after another that will come from this kingdom. But then another king will arrive. He will be different from the earlier kings. He will begin by toppling 3 kings. Then he will blaspheme the high God, persecute the followers of the high God, and try to get rid of sacred worship and moral practice. God's holy people will be persecuted by him for a time, 2 times, half a time. But when the court comes to order, the horn will be stripped of its power and totally destroyed. Then the royal rule and the authority and the glory of all the kingdoms under heaven will be handed over to the people of the high God. Their royal rule will last forever. All other rulers will serve and obey them. And there it ended. I, Daniel, was in shock. I was like a man who had seen a ghost, but I kept it all to myself. In King Belshazzar's 3rd year as king, another vision came to me, Daniel. This was now the 2nd vision. In this vision I saw myself in Susa, the capital city of the province Elam, standing at the Ulai Canal. Looking around, I was surprised to see a ram also standing at the gate. The ram had 2 huge horns, one bigger than the other, but the bigger horn was the last to appear. I watched as the ram charged, first west, then north, then south. No beast could stand up to him. He did just as he pleased, strutting as if he were king of the beast. While I was watching this, wondering what it all meant, I saw a billy goat with an immense horn in the middle of its forehead, coming up out of the west and fly across the whole country, not once touching the ground. The billy goat approached the double-horned ram that I had earlier seen standing at the gate, and in rage charged it viciously. I watched as, mad with rage, it charged the ram and hit it so hard that it broke off its 2 horns. The ram didn't stand a chance against it. The billy goat knocked the ram to the ground and stomped all over it. Nothing could have saved the ram from the goat. Then the billy goat swelled to an enormous size. At the height of its power, its immense horn broke off, and 4 other big horns sprouted in its place, pointing to the 4 points of the compass. And then from one of these big horns, another horn sprouted. It started small, but then grew to an enormous size, facing south and east toward lovely Palestine. The horn grew tall, reaching to the stars, the heavenly army, and threw some of the stars to the earth and stomped on them. It even dared to challenge the power of God, Prince of the celestial army. And then it threw out daily worship and desecrated the sanctuary. As judgment against their sin, the holy people of God got the same treatment as the daily worship. The horn cast God's truth aside, high-handed, took over everything and everyone. Then I overheard 2 holy angels talking. One asked, "How long is what we see here going to last? The abolishing of daily worship, this devastating judgment against sin, the kicking around of God's holy people in the sanctuary?" The other answered, "Over the course of 2,300 sacrifices, evening and morning, then the sanctuary will be set right again." While I, Daniel, was trying to make sense of what I was seeing, suddenly there was a human-like figure standing before me. Then I heard a man's voice from over by the Ulai Canal calling out, "Gabriel, tell this man what is going on. Explain the vision to him." He came up to me, but when he got close I became terrified and fell face down on the ground. He said, "Understand that this vision has to do with the time of the end." As soon as he spoke, I fainted, my face in the dirt, but he picked me up and put me on my feet. And then he continued, "I want to tell you what is going to happen as the judgment days of wrath will wind down, for there is going to be an end to all this. The double-horned ram you saw stands for the two kings of the Medes and Persians. The billy goat stands for the kingdom of the Greeks. The huge horn on its forehand is the first Greek king. The four horns that sprouted after it was broken off are the four kings that come after him, but without his power. As their kingdoms cool down and rebellions heat up, a king will show up, hard-faced, a master trickster. His power will swell enormously. He'll talk big and high-handedly, doing whatever he pleases, knocking off heroes and holy ones left and right. He'll plot and scheme to make crime flourish, and oh, how it will flourish. He'll think he's invincible and get rid of anyone who gets in his way. But when he takes on the prince of princes, of all princes, let me start over with that verse. But when he takes on the prince of all princes, he'll be smashed to bits, but not by human hands. This vision of the 2,300 sacrifices, evening and morning, is accurate but confidential. Keep it to yourself. It refers to the far future. I, Daniel, walked around in a daze, unwell for days. Then I got a grip on myself and went back to working, taking care of the king's affairs. But I continued to be upset by the vision. I couldn't make sense of it. Darius, son of Ahasuerus, born a Mede, became king over the land of Babylon. In the first year of his reign, I, Daniel, was meditating on the scriptures that gave, according to the word of God, to the prophet Jeremiah, the number of years that Jerusalem had to lie in ruins, namely 70. I turned to Master God, asking for an answer, praying earnestly, fasting from meals, wearing rough penitential burlap and kneeling in the ashes. I poured out my heart, bearing my soul to God, my God. O Master, great and august God, you never waver in your covenant commitment, never give up on those who love you and do what you say. Yet we have sinned in every way imaginable. We've done evil things, rebelled, dodged, taken detours around your clearly marked paths. We've turned a deaf ear to your servants, the prophets, who preached your word to our kings and leaders, our parents, and all the people in the land. You have done everything right, Master, but all we have to show for our lives is guilt and shame, the whole lot of us, people of Judah, citizens of Jerusalem, Israel at home and Israel in exile, in all the places we've been banished to because of our betrayal of you. Oh yes, God, we've been exposed in our shame, all of us. Our kings, leaders, parents, before the whole world, and deservedly so, because of our sin. Compassion is our only hope, the compassion of you, the Master, our God. Since in our rebellion we forfeited our rights, we paid no attention to you when you told us how to live, the clear teaching that came through your servants, the prophets. All of us in Israel ignored what you said. We defied your instructions and did what we pleased, and now we're paying for it. The solemn curse written out plainly in the Revelation to God's servant Moses is now doing its work among us. The wages of our sin against you. You did to us and our rulers what you said you would do. You brought this catastrophic disaster on us, the worst disaster on record, and in Jerusalem. Just as written in God's revelation to Moses, the catastrophe was total. Nothing was held back. We kept at our sinning, never giving you a second thought, oblivious to your clear warning, and so you had no choice but to let the disaster loose on us in full force. You, our God, had a perfect right to do this, since we persistently and defiantly ignored you. Master, you are our God, for you delivered your people from the land of Egypt in a show of power. People are still talking about it. We confess that we have sinned, that we have lived bad lives, following the lines of what you have always done in setting things right. Setting people right. Please stop being so angry with Jerusalem, your very own city, your holy mountain. We know it's our fault that this has happened, all because of our sins and our parents' sins. And now we're an embarrassment to everyone around us. We're a blot on the neighborhood. So listen, God, to this determined prayer of your servant. Have mercy on your ruined sanctuary. Act out of who you are, not out of what we are. Turn your ears our way, God, and listen. Open your eyes and take a long look at our ruined city, this city named after you. We know that we don't deserve a hearing from you. Our appeal is to your compassion. This prayer is our last and only hope. Master, listen to us. Master, forgive us. Master, look at us and do something. Master, don't put us off. Your city and your people are named after you. You have a stake in us. While I was pouring out my heart, bearing my sins and the sins of my people, Israel, praying my life out before my God, interceding for the holy mountain of my God, while I was absorbed in this prayer, the human-like Gabriel, the one I had seen in an earlier vision, approached me, flying in like a bird about the time of evening worship. He stood before me and said, Daniel, I have come to make things plain to you. You had no sooner started your prayer when the answer was given, and now I'm here to deliver the answer to you. You are much loved, so listen carefully to the answer, the plain meaning of what is revealed. 77s are set for your people and for your holy city to throttle rebellion, stop sin, wipe out crime, set things right forever, confirm what the prophets saw, and anoint the Holy of Holies. Here is what you must understand. From the time the word goes out to rebuild Jerusalem until the coming of the anointed leader, there will be 7 sevens. The rebuilding will take 62 sevens, including building streets and digging a moat. Those will be rough times. After the 62 sevens, the anointed leader will be killed. The end of him. The city and sanctuary will be laid in ruins by the army of the newly arriving leader. The end will come in a rush, like a flood. War will rage right up to the end, desolation the order of the day. Then for 1 7 he will forge many and strong alliances, but halfway through the 7 he will banish worship and prayers. At the place of worship, a desecrating obscenity will be set up and remain until finally the desecrator himself is decisively destroyed. And that is it for today's Bible reading. As always, get in touch with God today, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye.